Yes, y'all. Yes, y'all. I'm old school, but I keep it funky fresh, y'all. And this is deep, y'all. I'm from the deep, y'all. And what you get is what you motherfucking see.
Welcome back, humans! You know what day it is. My name is Jaime, giving you exclusive events on headlines that you didn't even know you needed. And with that said, let's get on with some vents, humans. You know, some people brag like when it's wintertime and we don't have like nice weather, you know, like all the time, like all year round, like some people, you know, have the privilege of doing and we don't. And so sometimes they'll brag, like, oh, you know, it's still sunny over here. And they'll rub it in your face when we're having like super cold winter and shit. They're kind of being assholes, but you know, whatever. It is what it is. When we get nice weather and they get shitty weather, I'm sure we would do the same thing. But I guess in Oregon, no, I'm just kidding. In Oregon, the police were warning of people to like stay away from explosives that were washing up on beaches. That's right, humans. I guess they were having like grenades, prepackaged grenades with fully instructions on how to use them, just washing up on the beaches out in Oregon. And so yeah, it would be a warning. Don't do it. You know, don't do it. I mean, if you look at the package here, it clearly even says simulator, hand grenade, and firing instructions. And it even says it right there. You can read the instructions like right on there. And so the police are like, hey, man, you know, when kids are out there making sandcastles, that's what you like. That's the least thing you want to worry about. Maybe them like finding some glass or a broken bottle or a beer can or some shit or a needle. Some shit. Now they got to watch out for a damn grenade. Like, who cares? Now you're worried about kids maybe getting AIDS from a dirty drug needle. But now they can just be exploded and just blown the fuck up. They can lose a limb. They can get like a war injury playing on the beach. So watch out with that, humans. And watch your children one again. We don't want them blowing up on the beach. Jeez. Out there, and this one's a good one for all my family out there in Texas. A Texas homeowner says hooker ghosts have taken over their rental property. And that while they're trying to stir up their business and trying to get clients, I guess they're having some problems there with these frisky ghosts. Like, how can you tell a ghost is a hooker? Okay, it's like hooker ghost. Like, okay, let's say the ghost they report like the ghost you could feel rubbing on your shoulder and things like that. That just automatically makes you a prostitute ghost. Where are the ghost representation for this to say like, hey man, we ain't all bad. Like, we ain't all fucking perverts. Just because you feel a little rub on your shoulder doesn't mean we're hooker ghosts. What if it was a male? How do you know? Like, are the ghosts handing out like hand jobs and shit to your tenants? Like your wife, like the wife wakes up in the middle of the night, like my husband doesn't want to leave this place, you know, and like something's going on. He's all happy and the sheets is wet, and he's fucking like, they're like, we should just stay longer, honey. Like that part's not in the report, so we need to know if that kind of shit was going down. But apparently it was just some shoulder rubs and touches on the shoulders. Come on. They just automatically is asking for money when it's over. Like there's a ghost pimp showing up and like before you try to leave your hotel room, you got to pay the checkout fee and the pimp. Like you know what happened, you know, and the ghost is sitting there not like the door just don't open until you leave some extra money on the dresser. And the hooker goes and the hooker pimp lets you leave. These are some crazy headlines, humans. And that's why I'm here to share them with you. And if you're new to the channel, like I said, I'd appreciate it if you would subscribe with some notifications. So, in Georgia, a fugitive was arrested after replying to a sheriff's Facebook post. They had a most wanted Facebook post, and they were like, this is our top 10 most wanted in the city in Georgia. And my man's name was left out, so he got all pissed off and offended. Like, I did way more shit than that dude. So he calls the police or reports to the police and shit right on Facebook or something. And he was like, hey, what about me? And say like, what about me, man? What am I, chopped liver? And the cops was like, oh, okay, no problem, man. We'll add you to the list. And they bust his ass. Dummy. You deserve to get but He was like, what about me? He was like left off of that list. Like sometimes those are good lists to be left off of if it's if it's that kind of list that your name's gonna be on. Man, he got he got mad because he wasn't on the most wanted list. You're supposed to keep that comment to yourself, or maybe your other criminal friend circle, not over back on the social media. And that also keeps me up when these criminals out here do a crime or steal some shit, and then they're gonna floss it on social media. Oh man. Let me continue, humans. In some spy news, the MI5 is looking to recruit spies who can see 7 years into the future for future threats. That's right, humans. Not only they went beyond the MK Ultra, now they're like specific, like when you got like we need 2 or 3 years experience of this and that. When you see that on some job requirements, this one's like you need more than just 3 years of future seeing. We need to get you up to 7 years, so they need to know what's going down in like 2030, like right away. Something must be going down. They must have some documents about 2030 for these guys to be wanting to go to the future to counterattack this whatever supposedly they could be going down. So if you guys, anybody out there, and you know anyone that could see 7 years into the future, MI5 is hiring. You might want to send them their way. That's all I'm saying, humans. Hook somebody up if they're looking for a job. And in California, what site? No, I'm just kidding. And the people in California, they made a bizarre discovery under their lawn in the front yard while getting some landscaping done. So they had these landscapers there. I don't know if they were getting like some sprinkler work done or whatever. I just went through and kind of skimmed through a little bit. The guys ended up having to dig some stuff down and hit some hard surface. Decided to see a little bit more, and what they discovered was a car, the top of a vehicle. That's right, humans. Somebody buried a whole damn car. And they ended up calling the police. And this car must have been buried like in the 90s. And I think the city is, I don't know how to pronounce it correct, but I think it was like San Mateo, California. And this car supposedly they believe was under the ground since the 90s, probably because the vehicle is the 90s. I mean, it's a 90s vehicle. When none of the neighbors saw somebody burying like a whole car? Like, what are your neighbors? Everybody has nosy neighbors, let alone to see somebody digging a giant hole. Like, not just a hole deep enough for like, he's digging a grave in the backyard. They put a vehicle in that hole, like, and buried the whole damn thing, and not one person noticed them burying the damn car. Damn. So I guess they're going to have to get the police involved, and they're going to bring the cadaver dogs just in case there's a body inside, and it could be a possible hidden mob hit. Or maybe one of Dahmer's victims. Or maybe, who knows what, like somebody else be just dropped off there somewhere, and they had to hide their ass and cover the shit up. Who knows who could be in there? Like I said, it could be Jimmy Hoffa up in there. That's bananas. You could just go get some yard work done and just have that kind of discovery. That's, a lot of times people have some weird discoveries like that when they get renovations done. You'll find some old stuff somewhere. Like, what the hell's this leg bone doing, in the walls? Like, it's just one bone just randomly sitting in the wall. Like, I'm not saying that happened to me or nothing, but just for an example, like, this crazy shit be happening all the time. All the time. I'm in some other country, into like Thailand. A Thailand temple now vacant after all 4 monks reportedly tested positive in their drug test. And I guess they tested positive for meth. Got rid of all these dudes. They were supposed to be like pure-minded. They supposedly could levitate. Or maybe they thought they could levitate from all the meth. Because they was high as hell. And then they say they could partially levitate. So you see these video clips and they're like, they believe they can levitate for short periods of time. Because our historians, our ancestors, supposedly could float. So they, all found this, ancient crystal stuff around, a.k.a. meth, and was like, we can all float. So you see these videos, they're sitting with their legs crossed, and they're just hopping on their asses with their legs crossed, and they're saying that they're levitating for short periods of time. Then you see these guys will be like, I'm like way advanced, I'm this advanced monk. and he just be chilling and he's floating and he's got his cane and shit. And my man with the camera walks up and just goes like, sees the whole thing was attached to the ground and he's got a fucking chair he's sitting on, and my man ain't floating at all. It was because of the meth. Okay, that's why. So there's a bunch more of them churches, of them ones that claim to be levitating, they're probably gonna be all getting closed down because they all be tripping on some meth, man. No wonder you guys don't dress right. You could be dressing like it could be cold in some place. Like some of them temples where they have those monks that be cold. It's probably why you don't feel it because of the meth. I'm not saying all of y'all do meth, but there could be a factor here. That's all I'm saying to you. That's all I'm saying. Well, I hope y'all enjoyed this episode, and if you did, I appreciate it if you would smash that like button, hit me with a subscription, and turn on them notifications. My name is Jaime, and this has been another episode of Meant to Vent. Till next time, humans. See ya.